9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up? How are you? My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on air. You can listen to the show wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. We got all the things. If you miss any of the show, you can catch it again on the podcast on Apple and Spotify. We're very excited. We got a big show today. Chris Spencer, who is running for state senate in Sumner and Trousdale counties, he's coming into the show around 9:30. He's going to address some things that have been happening in his race. He wants to get the word out there and give us an update on how things are going. Plus, we're going to be covering the chaos that is surrounding Joe Biden. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't think the conversation's going to end until July 21st. That's the imaginary line in the sand where they were going to do the digital convention, similar to how they did COVID, to get Biden on the ballot in a few states where the deadline is earlier than the Democrat National Convention. So we're waiting. We're waiting. Trump also announced that he's going to have a VP pick by July 15th. Did you hear that? Yeah, by Monday. By Monday. Donald Trump is set to announce his vice presidential pick by Monday, the start of the RNC in Milwaukee. That's what Trump advisor Jason Miller told Fox and Friends. He said it could happen anytime this week. The announcement is long awaited, and everybody knows the short list currently is Rubio, Vance, Burgum, and Miller says a few others who have been Trump campaign surrogates. He said by this time next Monday, we will know who President Trump has selected as his running mate for the 2024 election. It could happen anytime this week, could happen literally right up until the first day of the convention. Miller also said that he didn't believe that Biden and his VP Kamala Harris would even be on the Democratic ticket come November. The DNC comes a few weeks after the RNC and will be staged in Chicago. It's crazy. The governor of Chicago, J.B. Pritzker, he's upped his migrant shelters in Chicago ahead of the DNC. Isn't it lovely how they always do that whenever Democrats come to town, be it Biden on the border or their boss Xi Jinping when he came to San Francisco. They always clean up the riffraff when they have guests coming over. They don't care about American citizens when they're living in squalor and dealing with this day in and day out, but when they come to town, they take the time to clean it up. Isn't that nice? Just another cherry on top of the mountain of proof that says Democrats don't care about American citizens. You are last in their eyes. They care about optics. So we got the DNC coming up. We got the RNC coming up. Savannah Hernandez, friend of the show, she's going to be at the RNC all week. She's going to be checking in with us while she's there and giving us updates on the ground. She is tracking and following some word online about some protests that could be happening. I talked to her yesterday on the phone. She said she expects a lot more protests at the DNC as opposed to the RNC, and she's kind of more looking forward to Chicago. Savannah's wired differently. Savannah Hernandez, she looks for the chaos.
She likes that aggro environment.
She likes the just the wildness of it. She's like, it's probably going to be boring.
Yeah, I was like, it probably makes it a little more interesting if something happens, not just I expected that.
Oh, and the DNC is going to have plenty of protesters.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Plenty. I mean, I think the RNC is going to have its fair amount too, but it's crazy. The DNC is going to have more. Like almost guaranteed.
I think that, and then I also wonder, are they going to have like the lights turned down? Are they going to have like a noise machine in the background so Biden can take his nap through the whole thing just to make sure he gets through it?
Maybe.
Who knows? I mean, he's been sleepwalking this long.
Ugh, what a joke. He's been asleep his entire presidency. Also, speaking of 2024, the RNC has formally adopted Trump's 2024 platform. Formally. This platform is so scary, you guys. It's going to freak you out. Number one, seal the border. I know. It already has Democrats just riled up. 2, carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. I like that. 3, end inflation. Make America affordable again. 4, make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. We were on our way to doing that. We were energy independent under Trump. Let's do it again. Number 5, stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Yes. When I was in West Virginia over the weekend, that was one of those things that really stood out to me. The empty factories, the the empty industrialization of America. It's just been hollowed out, and people want those jobs back. And he says, stop outsourcing, turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Number 6 on the Trump platform that has been formally adopted by the RNC, large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. Number 7, defend our Constitution, Bill of Rights, our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Number 8, prevent World War III, restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. Number 9, end the weaponization of government against the American people. Number 10, stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. All this stuff is common sense stuff, is it not? This isn't some radical alt-right plan. This is common sense. This is every politician's bare minimum 20 years ago. Number 11, rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., make them safe, clean, and beautiful again. That monster. We can't keep letting him get away with this. This is the Trump plan for the presidency as adopted by the RNC. Number 13, keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. Oh, I skipped number 12. Strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world. Number 13, keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. Number 14, fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. Number 15, cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly, burdensome regulations. Number 16, cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Amen. This shouldn't be a radical plan. Number 17, this is where it gets really radical. Keep men out of women's sports. Could you imagine Reagan having to campaign like this? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine Clinton having a campaign like this? Keep men out of women's sports? This is how far left the country's gone. Number 18 of the Trump plan for America that has been formally adopted by the RNC, deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. Number 19, secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. Yes. Number 20, unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. This is the radical plan that everyone is so scared of when it comes to Donald Trump. Terrified.
It's wild that has to have radical in front of it for most people who hear it.
He's an alt-right extremist. We can't keep letting him get away with it. Senator Marsha Blackburn, you're familiar with her, I would assume. She served as the platform committee chair and said in a statement, the job of the chair is to orchestrate the platform committee meeting, and I'm so proud the delegates passed Donald J. Trump's platform. Trump senior campaign advisors Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles said the platform showcases Trump's MAGA agenda in a way that is concise and digestible for every voter. RNC Chairman Michael Whatley and RNC co-chair Lara Trump added that the 2024 Republican Party platform is a bold roadmap that will undo the devastating damage that Joe Biden's far-left policies have done to this country, power President Trump to a historic victory in November, and make America great again. The platform coincides with the news of the daily themes at the upcoming Republican National Convention. Again, the convention's next week, Monday through Thursday, where in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Trump is going to become the official nominee. The daily themes for the convention, each day has its own theme. The daily themes are make America wealthy once again, make America safe once again, make America strong once again, and make America great once again. The monster. We can't keep letting the orange man get away with this. He wants this country to do good, and the far leftist radicals in our government are hell-bent on stopping him. But the far leftist radicals have a new opponent, and the new opponent is the media. The media is tired of looking stupid and foolish. And Ken mentioned it in the Amigos. You go no further than Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper read a Biden quote from his MSNBC interview and then blasted Biden on the air. Give me a little audio, my man.
72% of voters say that they believe President Biden is too old. That's according to CNN's most recent polling. Voters have been saying this for quite a long time. The reality is that the Democratic elites are mostly late to acknowledge these age and ability issues compared to the rest of the public.
Yep.
The elites have been forced to reckon with it after the debate just 11 days ago.
Elites like Jake Tapper, I might add.
Look at my career. I've not had many of those nights. It was a terrible night, and I really regret it happened. But the fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be on faith that can intervene on your way to go to, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea I'm too old.
The fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be out on your way to go, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea that I'm too old.
Roasted.
Keep in mind, that soundbite is supposed to be reassuring to those Democratic supporters who have gone wobbly. Many Democratic officials with whom I've spoken are worried that President Biden and his family and his inner circle appear to be in complete denial, not just about whatever might be wrong with him, but the state of his candidacy right now.
Yeah, I would be worried too. This whole tour has supposed to been reassuring to the voters of the Democrat Party. Do you feel like they're reassured? Do you feel reassured? If anything, all it does when Joe Biden speaks is it raises more questions and makes you a little bit more nervous about the state of the country, the state of the world, and what happens next. What happens next? We have, less than 5 months to the election. It doesn't look good for Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't look like he wants to step aside. So what do the people that want to do us harm think? Well, maybe they think that their window is closing. Maybe China takes Taiwan. Maybe a terrorist attack happens in this country. They understand that currently the way the shape we're in isn't good. The guy leading the country can't find his way off stage. In fact, he needs detailed instructions with photos to get him to the podium in the first place. So what do our enemies do? It feels like it's going to be a long few months. And I feel like some things are going to happen before Joe Biden gets out of there. Because the guy that keeps showing up doesn't reassure anybody. He doesn't reassure anyone. In a radio interview the other day, Joe Biden said that he was the first black woman to serve with a black president. Jake Tapper roasted him for this as well.
Before the president did that, he called into a couple of black radio stations where he said, among other things, this.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to serve with a black president. I'm proud of the role of the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America.
Yeah.
He's proud to be the first black woman? Not coherent.
No, not coherent at all.
You ain't black.
Not coherent.
Not coherent. The funny thing about that interview is the radio host actually got fired. I mean, I say funny. I don't know. I don't really want her to lose her job. But she admitted that the White House gave her the questions for that interview, and it ultimately cost her job. And she admitted that the White House gave her the questions for that interview on CNN.
You asked 4 questions, and maybe that's what you were allowed to ask by the campaign or the White House. But they were essentially the same questions, both interviews, about accomplishments, progress in your respective state, what's at stake in the election, what he has to say about his debate performance, and what he would say to voters who think their vote doesn't matter or might sit this election out. Were those questions given to you by the White House or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved of them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview?
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either view. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vim, vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming.
Well, they do that by not letting the audience know that the questions were sent by the White House, right? And the radio host that used those pre-approved questions, the radio host that admitted to that, Andrea Lawful Sanders, she's the host or was the host of The Source on WURD in Philadelphia. She has been fired. She's been fired. Well, they said they mutually agreed to part ways effective immediately, according to a statement from WURD. The station clarified that the interview was arranged and negotiated independently by the host without knowledge or collaboration with management. And they emphasized that using predetermined questions provided by the Biden campaign violated its commitment to remaining an independent media outlet that is held accountable by its listeners. So they got rid of her for admitting that the questions were sent by the White House. But I wonder if they got rid of her because she told the truth that the White House sent the questions. I wonder if she would still have her job today if it wasn't big news and she didn't admit it on CNN and it was just, quietly done in the background. I think that the outcome would have been much different. But the news that the Biden campaign sent those pre-approved questions was quickly picked up by multiple news outlets and used once again as more proof that Joe Biden isn't fit for an interview. So how can he be fit for the presidency? It's a crazy time, y'all. And we're having fun watching it, but it's scary at the exact same time. It is downright frightening at the exact same time. It's 9:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. If you need help with your HVAC system, call my friends at Busy Bee. You're not going to find a better group of guys that are going to come see you and help you out. Now, hey, I always tell you to become a member of the Beehive Club. There's so much value in it. It's only $99, and you get 3 annual tune-ups, one for your heating, one for your cooling, one for your plumbing. You get a 10% discount on all repairs. You get priority front-of-the-line service when you have maintenance issues, which was huge for me when I had my maintenance issues because they were at my home in less than an hour. You also get a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. It pays for itself. It's only $99 to join the Beehive Club. And right now, in the month of July, it actually costs half that. Go in with a neighbor. If you buy a Beehive Club membership today, a neighbor in your neighborhood is going to get one for free. Yep, buy one, get one on Beehive Club memberships from your Rude Pro partner, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call them today. Become a Beehive Club member. You will not be disappointed. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Online at busybeehvac.com.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
All right, we're tracking that low-end threat of tornadoes today, and then the annual NATO summit gets underway today in Washington, D.C. The White House says President Biden's going to prove he's a capable leader. Details at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 9:28 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by Chris Spencer, who is running for state senate in Sumner and Trousdale counties. What's been going on, Chris?
Well, thanks for having me, Chris. I've been very busy campaigning and door knocking, and had a really good story to tell you on my door knocking from yesterday in Mansker Farms. A gentleman by the name James, I knocked on a door, he opened the door, and he's like, "Chris Spencer, I've been waiting for you for 3 months."
Really?
Yeah, he said, "I listen to Chris Hand Show every day, and you told on Chris Hand Show that you're going to knock on every door in Sumner County." I said, I don't know if I ever said that. I said, I'm going to try to get to as many doors as I possibly can. But he sat me down, and we had a good chat.
I love that. Yeah. That's cool, man. How many doors have you knocked on?
I'm approaching 6,000 for myself. So I think I could get to 7,000. My goal was like 10, but that was unrealistic, I think.
And you're coming down to crunch time.
We are. Early voting starts Friday.
Wow.
Early voting starts Friday.
So this is the last big push for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, and that really is just to get my message out by door knocking, and then talk about my opponent's voting record. And but an interesting thing also happened last week. I did not realize it, but there's actually early voting in Sumner County.
Oh,
yeah. And so I got a call from one of my supporters saying, "Hey, Chris, Senator Hale is at my parents' assisted living, and he is meeting with the voters." And I said, "Oh," he said, "they're going to vote on Friday, early voting they're bringing the machines out to there, and they're going to early vote on Friday." And I said, "Really?" So I went to the elections office yesterday, and I said, "Can you steer me to or why wasn't I contacted, first of all? Why wasn't I contacted and given a chance?" And then I asked them, "Where are the locations for this early voting at these assisted living places?" And they said, "It's online." And I said, "Show me." It wasn't online. And then the assistant director came in and said, "Well, it's not online, but you will have to fill out a public records request to get the list." And I said, "Well, why not? I mean, early voting's going on. My opponent knew about it. He's speaking to these people, and you're bringing machines out there. I should be allowed to have at least poll watchers or something like that." So I had to fill out a public records request yesterday just to get the list that I should have been provided.
Interesting.
And now it's too late.
All right, I want to hear more about this story, and we'll talk about it after Ken Weaver's newscast, which is happening right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a low-end threat of tornadoes today, mainly west of 65 this afternoon and early evening. We'll tell you more during the full forecast in 2 minutes. In our nation's capital, the annual NATO summit getting underway today in D.C. National Security Advisor John Kirby telling Americans world leaders are confident in President Biden's capabilities.
The fact that this summit is happening here in Washington, that these leaders are coming, says a lot about how much they value American leadership on the world stage and how much they respect and are grateful for the return of that leadership that President Biden has ushered in the last 3.5 years.
This year, the alliance marking its 75th anniversary. Right now in Middle Tennessee, News 2 says the Montgomery County Budget Committee proposing a 35-cent property tax increase to build for the area's growth. Leaders blaming inflation. If approved by the county commission, the average Montgomery County homeowner would pay roughly $25 more per month. Clarksville residents could see 2 property tax increases. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
.938 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by my friend Chris Spencer, who is running for state senate in Sumner and Trousdale counties. Now, before the news, you were talking about finding out about early voting.
Yes.
In Sumner and Trousdale counties, and you were kind of surprised to find this out because nobody told you about it, and you're a candidate.
Yeah, I'm a candidate for the highest office in Sumner County, and my opponent got tipped off on going to these assisted living places, which I think is just a bad idea all around. But to go into these places and campaign, and then they're going to bring in the voting machines in right a day or two after that. I thought early voting started on July 12th. And if we did contact the Secretary of State, and he said that, well, there's no law to stop this. Well, there probably needs to be a new law to stop it, because I don't know what's going on with those machines. I didn't have the opportunity to have a poll watcher watch them. In fact, I really didn't have an opportunity to speak to these people. I think if they're going to do something like that, especially early voting, we should be able to have poll watchers there. We should be alerted of that. And then we should be even given equal time as well. So, or do early voting, but don't allow candidates to go in there. I mean,
yeah, it seems weird.
It is. Well, I think it's weird. I don't know, and I guess they've been doing this for quite some time, but I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that I had to do a public records request yesterday to get the list of these places, and not that they won't give it to me. Heck, financials are due tomorrow, and guess what? We get emails from the state. We get a letter from the state when they're due, and then they keep in contact with us. We don't get anything, nothing, as a candidate for the highest office in Sumner County.
That's insane.
I think so.
And they've been going at you hard. I mean, I've seen some of these mailers. So you want to go through some of these accusations?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this. There has to be legal ways we can allow workers to stay in Tennessee. This is a quote from you, from the Nurses Out Loud podcast. It says 11/9/23, and it says that you're for rolling out the welcome mat for illegal aliens who break the law.
Well, as you know, I've been on this show many times, but I've been on many podcasts, and I spoke at the Protect Borders rally. I was the only candidate to speak at that rally, to stop illegal immigration. It's been my number one topic for years, that I want to fix illegal immigration. So I did a podcast, and we talked about all the things that I want to do to stop illegal immigration. And then one question was asked, well, what about the companies that cannot find workers? And my answer was, well, then let's find a legal way to help these companies. That's it. Now, we do that agriculturally. They come in and then they go home. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about finding a legal process for that. But no, I don't want illegal aliens. I'm fighting against it. That's my number one priority as the next state senator, to fight illegal immigration. And they literally twist my words and make a mailer, spend $20,000 probably on that mailer to say now that I'm pro illegal immigration. This is the kind of corruption that is going on with PACs.
I also can't help but notice on this mailer it says vote early on July 12th.
Right.
But there's early voting happening at these assisted living facilities already. Yeah. All right, here's another one. Chris Spencer is hiding from his taxes. He's a tax cheat. Chris Spencer shouldn't be in charge of your tax dollars. They say that you hid from the IRS and refused to pay your federal taxes for more than 5 years, and you were issued 5 tax liens by the IRS totaling $157,000.
Yes. Well, it's not true. I mean, I wasn't hiding. I paid my taxes. We were in a dispute with the IRS over deductions over those 5 years, that they were penalizing me and charging interest and so forth on deductions that we believed that we were entitled to. And so we fought them for probably a year over there. We thought they were unjust. It wasn't going anywhere because the IRS, if you own your home, they don't negotiate with you. So we ended up paying it. We paid it on time. We actually paid it on time a week before it was due, and then they filed the lien, and then they took the lien off. And so that's the story for that. And by the way, this was tax years 2004. They make it seem like it was yesterday. This was 2004, 5, 6, 7, I think, 8.
They also say on one of these mailers that you begged the local government to hike fees for garbage collection and then suggested those services get cut.
Yeah.
While not paying your taxes.
Yeah. I've always paid my taxes. I've been pretty successful. I've paid a lot of federal income taxes. About this, so in 2018, I sent an email and I came up with an idea to help the city of Hendersonville to build a tunnel under the train tracks because it's very dangerous on exit 8 in Hendersonville. And the thing is in 2000, the city passed a TIF of $20 million to build Indian Lake, and part of that was supposed to build the tunnel, and the developer filed bankruptcy, and all that money went away. And so all I was trying to do was I met with the mayor, and I met with the finance director, and I said, I need to find some money so we don't raise taxes to build this tunnel. And so we looked at the budget, and we were doing 2 days a week garbage in the city of Hendersonville. And I'm like, well, that's wasteful. So let's just do 1 day and give me that savings to build a tunnel. And then the other one was that we were supplementing $900,000 a year for garbage in the city of Hendersonville. We were supplementing that. And I said, well, why are we doing that? Why don't the citizens just pay for their own garbage? So that's the tax increase. I said, give me that $900,000 to build a tunnel so we don't have to raise taxes. And it equaled like $25 per household for the city not to supplement their garbage. And and I sent that to just the BOMA members and the mayor. I don't know how they got that, honestly, but that is this big, I'm for taxes. I'm so anti-tax this is what happens this is a lie. I was trying to help the city of Hendersonville come up with a solution that it was a dangerous solution. That tunnel would have cost $6 million. Today, it will cost $25 million, and we would not have increased any taxes. So I just thought of a way to help the city of Hendersonville, and this is what they do. They spend another $20,000 on a fake mailer.
Well, and there's a lot of mailers out on you.
Oh,
there's like 4 or 5.
Oh no, I think he's probably had about 20 mailers since we have started this campaign,
and it's at around $20,000 per mailer.
It is, yeah. It'd be a big full page mailer like that to the district. It just depends on how many they do. So they're going to spend over $1 million, and Randy McNally it's done 3 of those. His PAC, the lieutenant governor of Tennessee, has this PAC, and he is going to spend probably $200,000, just him, to try to defeat me in taking this seat.
Why is this race so expensive?
Because we are gaining traction. We have knocked on so many doors. We have put his voting record out in front of the public. The public did not know his voting record. When you're voting to co-sponsor bills to give illegal aliens business license and commercial license, vote to give them in-state tuition, pass your own bill to allow 9-year-olds to begin taking puberty blockers in Tennessee for gender dysphoria and other things, tried to block ivermectin. He supported vaccine mandates on his employees. He supported mask mandates during COVID. Shut this state down. Help shut this state down. And when we exposed his voting record, it gained traction. And so this is what the establishment does. This is the dirty, corrupt PAC money that we've talked about before that we need to stop. We need to make things equal. But this is the big pharma money for Randy McNally and for Senator Hale, and they are using this big pharma money to make sure that a person like me that is very conservative and wants to protect Tennesseans to not be in office, because I will not be for special interest.
When you see these mailers, though, is it encouraging?
It's, the devil works on me every day. I get up and I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I think about, I'm a fighter. And so it does encourage me every day. My wife is really excited and is glad to have, her behind my back. And, just like yesterday when I was door knocking that James in Mansfield Farm, well, I had some other great people answer the door and they said right away, they said, Chris Spencer, come on in, and they invite me in their house and we sit down and talk. And then I was just on my bike talking to another person and somebody came outside and yelling and they said, Chris Spencer, I want a sign in my yard because I hate these mailers. And so I'm hoping that God will use this against the establishment, that people will ignore these lies, that these slanderous mailers and TV ads and try somebody different. That will go after this corrupt stuff. Senator Hale has been involved with this seat for 25 years. He ran in 2000 and lost to a Democrat. He ran again in 2004 and lost to Kerry Roberts. And then he was appointed this seat in 2010 when Diane Black went to Congress. And so he's been there too long. He's too corrupt with special interests and PAC money. So I'm hoping that Sumner County and Trousdale County will say enough is enough. We're tired of this stuff that's going on in our elections, and we're going to give somebody a different, somebody new and fresh with fresh ideas to help Tennessee.
What does different and new look like to you if you win the seat?
Well, I want to work on illegal immigration. As you know, I've talked about that many times. I want to make all employees should be verified. I think we should have stiff penalties on transportation of illegal aliens. I believe we should pass a law to stop paying for illegal alien children in our public schools. I want to minimize special interest. Currently you can almost give $30,000 a PAC. Special interest can give $30,000 to a candidate, but an individual can go give only $1,800. Why is that? Why shouldn't it be PACs only $1,800 and individuals equal? They don't even vote. PACs don't even get to vote. So I want to tackle that. I want to close our elections. We have open primaries in Tennessee. I don't think Democrats should be voting in Republican primaries and vice versa. I think that is wrong. I want to close that. And then I want to stop or make sure that none of that woke stuff is in our public schools. My opponent had a chance to stop pride flags and BLM flags from flying in public schools, and he walked out. He didn't even have the courage to vote on it this past year, and that bill failed. And so we'll have another year of that in Tennessee. So if you are okay with Senator Hale's record on giving puberty blockers and giving illegal alien special rights and so forth, then keep him. But if you're against all that stuff, then I'm begging you to give me a chance to represent you in District 18 to bring conservative Christian values here back to District 18.
Where can we find you, Chris?
ChrisSpencerForSenate.com. And there's another website that I want to bring up because we put out his record, and of course they say, well, that's not true. So we made a new website, and it's called HalHaleVotes.com. Real simple, HalHaleVotes.com. We actually put the links to all of that voting record, so he can't say we're lying.
It's a good move. Chris Spencer is running for state senate in Sumner and Trousdale counties. Give him a look. He's been working hard, and I see a lot of people on the text line saying that you have their vote. I have one guy, 9495, said, as a mailman, I hate these mailers also.
Good. They're too much money, too much waste.
951, it's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Find Chris Spencer, ChrisSpencerForTN.com.
Chris Spencer for StateSenate.com.
Chris Spencer for StateSenate.com. I apologize.
Oh, wait, I don't even know. Chris Spencer for TennesseeSenate.com.
Chris Spencer for TennesseeSenate.com.
Sorry about that.
Just Google Chris Spencer, Tennessee. You'll find him. He's everywhere. Chris, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
It's 951 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Sorry about that.
Behind closed doors meeting on the future of President Biden's campaign, and U-Haul is responding after Nashville leaders say a group of white supremacists used their trucks during a march on Saturday. These stories and more at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
9:58 on Super Talk. My name is Chris Hand. Thanks, Ken. Looking forward to your newscast. Thanks again to Chris Spencer for coming in here. The Tennessee Conservative, they posted an article saying that Chris Spencer's opponent, Farrell Hale, guys working for him have been caught stealing Chris Spencer's signs. That's interesting.
Have you seen that video of the people putting like car batteries with jumper cables attached to their metal signs for Trump signs?
I've seen that for the Trump signs.
Be perfect for
I
Chris
wish
signs.
Chris was still in here. I would tell him, like, listen, you need to give out car batteries with your signs, and this problem won't happen.
Won't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, no, thanks to Chris Spencer for coming in. You guys find him online. He's all over the place. And if you're in Sumner and Trousdale counties, give him a look when you're thinking about who you want to vote for state senate. On the way, I do want to get to this press conference with Karine Jean-Pierre. It was a doozy. Did the Parkinson's expert come to the White House for Joe? Do you think we got a straight answer from Karine Jean-Pierre? Obviously not. We actually just got scolded. She treated the White House press corps like children. I got the audio for you, and I'll play it after Ken's newscast, which happens right now on Super Talk.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are under a low-level threat of tornadoes today, but can't rule them out. We'll tell you more during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Election 2024, Democrats in the House and Senate in Washington going to huddle with their respective caucuses today to discuss the future of President Biden's candidacy. Meanwhile, the White House says Biden's going to prove to the world he's a capable leader by hosting the NATO summit. National Security Advisor John Kirby.
There's an awful lot of the agenda. The president's very excited about this summit, hosting it here in Washington, starting tonight in the same auditorium where the NATO treaty was first signed by Harry Truman. There's a lot of work to get done.
3 days of meetings, speeches, and dinners with 30 other world leaders start today. Here in Nashville, U-Haul is responding to what local leaders say was a white supremacist group getting out of moving trucks to march downtown on Saturday. Jeff Lockridge, a spokesperson for U-Haul International, telling News 2 that the terms and conditions for equipment rental section of the U-Haul rental contract says passengers can only ride in the cab of the truck or van or vehicle towing any trailer. News 2 says Lockridge asked to be notified of any images or intel that he says helps identify the equipment that was used because U-Haul will investigate when a customer violates that rental agreement. Well, this group didn't commit any crimes, according to the Metro Nashville Police Department and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Both agencies say they were aware of their presence on Saturday. And Alec Baldwin's manslaughter trial in the death of a cinematographer in the New Mexico movie set shooting from October of 2021 starts today.
Starting today, the jury will be chosen that decides Alec Baldwin's fate. Was he responsible for the shooting death of Helena Hutchins on the set of the movie Rust, pointing a gun at her during rehearsals that for some still unknown reason had live bullets in it? The gun fired. Hutchins was killed. Baldwin telling ABC News in 2021 the gun went off accidentally.
I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
Baldwin maintains his innocence. The trial is scheduled for 10 days. Baldwin faces a possible 18-month prison sentence if convicted.
Jason Nathanson reporting, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Once again, thanks to Chris Spencer for coming in here. The story that he had for us about the assisted living facilities getting early voting and him finding out about it after the fact through a information records request, where and how is a massive story. Some of that needs to be looked into much, much more. That race in Sumner County, in Trousdale County, is heating up, and if you're looking for who to vote for state senate, I recommend taking a look at Chris Spencer. That's a big story, and I appreciate Chris coming in to share that with us. The biggest story nationwide currently is the decline of Joe Biden. That's the biggest one nationwide. And Karine Jean-Pierre, she had a press conference yesterday. And during the press conference yesterday, the question was asked, why does the White House have a Parkinson's doctor coming to visit? And it's actually been revealed that this guy has visited quite a few times. Quite a few times. We covered this yesterday. The doctor is Dr. Kevin Kennard. He's a neurologist specialist, a neurologist who specializes in movement disorders at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. He's stopped at the president's residence 8 times in 8 months. 8 times in 8 months. And rightfully so, the press demands answers. The press demands answers. So they thought, and maybe this was misguided, but they thought, well, we'll ask Karine Jean-Pierre, and she'll give us some answers.
Almost a dozen times over the last year or so, including at least one meeting with the president's physician. Could you state, very clearly, yes or no, was that expert here to participate in anything surrounding the care of the President of the United States?
So let me just say a couple of things. We have had a comprehensive, and I just want to take another step back, comprehensive physical examination. The president has had that. We've given a comprehensive report. We've shared that the past 3 years. Every year that he has had this exam, he sees a neurologist.
This is a weird spin. Now it's every time he has this exam, he sees a neurologist. Now they asked for just a yes or no. Was the Parkinson's expert coming to the White House for Joe Biden? And she says, well, let me take a step back. It's usually the first red flag, is it not?
And just to give you a quote from that, from the report most recently in February, an extremely detailed neurological exam was again reassuring in that there were no findings which would be consistent with any cerebellar or other central neurological disorders such as a stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, or ascending lateral sclerosis, end quote. So that came directly from in February in that comprehensive report that was provided by the president's doctor to me, that I share with all of you. So anyone who is watching can certainly go to our website.
But she doesn't answer the question. The question was yes or no. Yes or no. Was the Parkinson's expert at the White House for Joe Biden? It's a simple question. Yes or no?
Was this expert's visit, was multiple visits to the White House pertaining at all to the president's care?
Well, here's the thing. I've said he has had three. He has had three physicals. In those 3 physicals, that's when he has seen a specialist, a neurological specialist. I have to be super mindful here, and this is why, and I'll explain this to you in a second. There are thousands of military personnel who come onto this White House. Many of them get the care from the White House medical unit, and so need to be super careful. There are, the medical unit hosts a wide range of specialists, from dermatologists to a neurologist, and so I cannot speak to every person because there's actually a security reasons to protect their privacy. We respect and protecting people's privacy, so do not want to share. I'm not going to share people's names from here, but the president, I can tell you, has seen a neurologist 3 times, as it's connected to a physical that he gets every year that we provide to all.
So the president has seen a neurologist 3 times, connected with the physical that he gets every year. This feels like new information to me. This feels like a new spin. And she doesn't give the answer. Was the Parkinson's expert there for Joe Biden? And she cites privacy concerns. She says, well, people are always coming to the White House for medical care. Are they? Are they? And then the frustration kind of boils over with the press corps. And we get the exchange that's been going viral. The press corps is essentially pissed that they don't get answers from Karine Jean-Pierre and that Karine Jean-Pierre treats them like children. And we get this exchange between KJP and a reporter.
It's a very basic, direct question.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a second.
Eight times, or at least once, in regards to the president specifically.
Hold on a second.
That's what you should be able to answer by this point.
Wait, no. No, wait a minute. Ed, please. A little respect here, please.
She treats these members of the press like they're children. Ed, a little respect here, please. Please, Ed, come on. Come on now, Ed, please. But he says it's a very simple question. Is it yes or is it no? Was the Parkinson's expert there for Joe Biden?
So every year around the president's physical examination, he sees a neurologist. That's 3 times, right? So I am telling you that he has seen a neurologist 3 times while he has been in this presidency. That's what I'm saying. I am telling you that he has seen them 3 times.
Again, this is new spin from the White House. No. Joe has seen a neurologist. He's seen one 3 times. Before it was, he gets a cognitive test every day. He doesn't need a cognitive test. Now it's, he's seen a neurologist 3 times. But she still didn't answer the question.
That is what I'm sharing with you, right? So every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question.
She didn't answer the question at all.
No, it is. It is. You're asking me.
Kennard, come to the White House.
But I also said to you, Ed, for security reasons, we cannot share names. We cannot share names.
But the name is on the White House visitor log. The name is already out there. As Ed said himself, Dr. Kevin Kennard, did he come specifically for Joe Biden? I can't share names.
We have to.
Others he would have met with. You can share names in regards to if someone came here in regards to the president.
We cannot share names of specialists broadly, from a dermatologist to a neurologist.
We're not talking about eczema, though. We're talking about cognitive decline that is going to affect him executing the functions of the presidency of the United States. We're not talking about a rash. This is a question that the White House should answer.
We cannot share names. There are security reasons. We have to protect. I understand that. I hear you.
It's right there for anyone to see.
Ed, I hear you. I cannot from here confirm any of that because we have to keep their privacy.
We have to keep their privacy. The privacy of the doctor whose name you know because it's on the White House visitor logs. That is her new excuse.
I think they would appreciate that too. We have to give them.
The doctor.
We have to keep their privacy.
It is public information.
I hear you. Guys, hold on a second. There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this aggressive way.
Again, she's treating them like children. Guys, there's no reason to go back and forth with me in this aggressive way.
Around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
What do you miss about? What do you miss
about? Everything he just asked about.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that you guys asked.
Correctly, you didn't have to come back and clean it up.
I never answered the question incorrectly. That is not true. I was asked about a medical exam. I was asked about a physical. That was in the line of question that I answered.
The question was the Parkinson's expert there for Joe Biden? That question has still not been answered. And he says, you never give us answers. She goes, I always give you answers. He goes, no, you come back and clean it up when we figure out the truth. Guys, come on.
And I said, no, he did not have a medical exam. And I still stand by that. Matter of fact, the president still stands by that. He had a verbal check-in. That is something that the president has a couple times a week.
Now in regards to Dr. Kevin Kennard.
And I am telling you right now that I am not confirming names from here. It is the security reasons. I am not going to do that, Ed. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me. I'm not going to confirm a name. It doesn't matter if it's even in the log. I am not going to do that from here. That is not something I am going to do. What I can share with you is that the president has seen a neurologist for his physical 3 times.
This woman is a train wreck. Can we all agree with that? Can we agree that she's dressing down these reporters like they're children while not answering any of their questions? Can we all agree on that? This is who's running the country. People like this.
3 times. And it is in the reporting that we share a comprehensive reporting. Matter of fact, it's more than what the last guy shared, and it is in line with what George W. Bush did. It's in line with what Obama did. And so it is comprehensive. It is out there. I just read a quote from it, but I am not going to divulge somebody's name or confirm someone. I'm not going to do that. That is as privacy for that person. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me from here. I'm just not going to do that. It is inappropriate. It is not acceptable.
Honestly, that's like the way I talk to my kids when they're running around the pool and screaming and yelling.
Inappropriate. It is not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. She's talking to the members of the press like they're children, and they have legitimate questions that, as the American people, we want these answers. We want them. So yes or no, any reasons to reevaluate Joe Biden for Parkinson's?
Just to be clear, yes or no, has his physician seen a reason to reevaluate him for Parkinson's since the February physical?
No, the comprehensive report that you all have stands. The president obviously will have another physical, and we'll wait for that physical.
Great. So obviously the doctor didn't watch the debate. Obviously the doctor doesn't watch any media or news or check any clips out on Twitter, because there's multiple reasons to reevaluate Joe Biden at this point in time.
Obviously.
And if I'm Joe Biden, I want to do it anyway. Wouldn't you want to clear your name? Wouldn't you? I would be lying. I would have taken 10 of those tests. Let's go. As many as you need. And all of this discussion would be done. But he's not taking that. We're finding out more. He's telling Democrat governors he's got to be in bed by 8. He's telling people he was too tired, too prepped, under-prepped, over-prepped, had a cold, thought it might have been COVID. Just take the test, Joe. Just take the test. Quite literally, that's all he needs to do. And Karine Jean-Pierre was asked that. Would you counsel the president to get this cognitive test done to just end the questions?
But there have been a number of people who have said, listen, why don't you have a cognitive test just to rule out that there are any issues? Would the president, would you counsel him to do that just to sort of put an end to these questions?
Andre, I hear you.
Let's just do it. Let's put an end to it.
The neurologist has said it is not warranted.
It's not warranted. Did the neurologist watch the debate?
The president himself, he said it today, he said it multiple times, and the doctor has said this. Everything that he does day in and day out as it relates to delivering for the American people is a cognitive test.
Yeah, but day in and day out, we see him failing on the world stage. We see him failing on the national stage. Day in and day out, if that's his cognitive test, he fails day in and day out.
And that is what the medical doctor has said. That is what the specialist has said.
That's what the doctors and the specialists have said. They could end these questions today. They could end the questions today. But they won't do it because they know what the answer would be. It's a scary time in America with this going on. And Karine Jean-Pierre, she is more worried about herself, and she's upset that people are upset with her because she doesn't do a good job and doesn't answer questions for the press. And she took some time out from the press briefing to relay that message about how disappointed she was in the press corps today.
I just want to take a step back for a second, because I do take offense to what Ed alluded to. Come out here every day, there's a press briefing, And we do our best to give you the information that we have at the time. That's what we do. And we understand that freedom of the press, we respect the freedom of the press. You heard me talk about this last week. I appreciate the back and forth that we all have. I try to respect you, and I hope you try to respect me.
Yeah, we got a little test. So we'll do the test.
She's lecturing the media.
She's lecturing everybody. In fact, it's actually easier to listen to this test than it is to listen to Karine Jean-Pierre. Much less abrasive. That's what I was waiting for. Much less abrasive than Karine Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, at least we're not getting lectured.
She's literally lecturing the press because they hurt her feelings.
I try to respect you, and I hope you try to respect me. And we literally do everything that we can. My team does everything that we can to make sure we get the answers to you.
Do you think her team does literally everything they can to get the answers to the press? Literally?
That's what we do. And sometimes we disagree. Sometimes we are not in agreement. But you know what? That's democracy. That is what is important, to have that healthy back and forth. And so to say that I'm holding information or allude to anything else is not unfair. It's really, really unfair. I think people who are watching and have been watching this briefing for this past week could say that we are doing our best in this briefing to provide the information that we have. And I will admit, I will be the first one to admit, sometimes I get it wrong. At least I admit that. At least I admit that.
No.
And sometimes I don't have the information. And I will always, always admit that. But I do take offense to what was just happening at the beginning of this briefing. It's not okay.
I take offense to what happens during all these briefings. We get lied to, and then we get scolded by Karine Jean-Pierre. Come on, guys. Let's hope the press corps is more behaved today. It's 10:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, it looks like that big Democratic behind closed door meeting on the future of President Biden's campaign is getting underway. We've got that and more news at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I expect there's going to be a lot of faces and palms at that meeting. That's unbelievable. You know, one Democrat is standing behind Joe Biden. AOC is officially riding with Biden, guys.
Has spoken to the president over the weekend. I have spoken with him extensively. He made clear then, and he has made clear since, that he is in this race. The matter is closed. He had reiterated that this morning. He has reiterated that to the public. Joe Biden is our nominee. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race, and I support him.
AOC has spoken. Just want to make note. AOC has spoken. She's riding with Biden, okay? AOC has spoken. And she wants you to know that the important thing isn't really electing Biden. The important thing is stopping Trump.
Now, what I think is critically important right now is that we focus on what it takes to win in November, because he is running against Donald Trump, who is a man with 34 felony convictions that has committed 34 felony crimes, and not a single Republican has asked for Donald Trump to not be the nominee.
What do you mean? We've had Republicans ask for Trump not to be the nominee. I mean, they always tout these Republicans whenever it's convenient. Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan. They always bring those Republicans out when it's convenient. We've had Republicans say they don't want Trump as the nominee. By the way, we are 6 days away from the Republican National Convention, and we're going to have Donald Trump as the nominee, whether they like it or not. Another thing that AOC thinks is important is that the White House and the president need to listen to her.
And what's critically important is what the president, I believe that the president needs to do, and I have communicated this, what the president and the White House should do in order to make sure that we win in November. And that is making sure that we pivot and working and increasingly commit to the issues that are critically important to working people across this country.
How many times is she going to say critically important? If everything's critically important, does that mean nothing is critically important? If everything's 11, nothing is an 11.
How are we going to expand Medicare? How are we going to expand Social Security? How are we going to provide relief to people's rent and mortgages? And if we can do that and continue our work on student loans, secure a ceasefire, and bring those dollars back into investing in public policy, then that's how we win in November. That's what I'm committed to, and that's what I want to make sure that we
go even further left, AOC says, and that's how we guarantee a victory in November for the Democrats. Are you paying attention? AOC's riding with Biden. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are tracking the potential for severe storms today. Cannot rule out tornadoes. In fact, we're seeing that there is at least one tornado warning now in northeast Mississippi. Part of some weather that could be moving our way later today. We'll have to keep an eye on for you. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Right now, we have some major entertainment news that is breaking right now. News 2 just put out an alert that says the Oak Ridge Boys' Joe Bonsall has passed away at the age of 76. And right now in our nation's capital, House and Senate Republicans meeting behind closed doors on the future of President Biden's campaign. Jerry Nadler backtracking from his previous stance over the weekend that Biden should step down.
The president yesterday made it very clear he's running. I'm fully supportive of him. I plan to campaign for him, and it's essential that he win.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about my friends at the Glock store. And I mean, if you've ever visited the Glock store, well, they're your friends too. And if you haven't visited the Glock store, you really should, especially if you have any interest in, I don't know, Glocks. You know, that's kind of why they call it the Glock store. They're your specialists in Glock handguns and Glock performance parts. That's the reason it's called the Glock store. If it has anything to do with Glock, anything whatsoever, it's going to be on the shelves of the Glock store. And if it's not on the shelves, well, it's in the back getting ready to be brought out. And when it comes to those performance parts for your own Glock, go to the source, and the source is the Glock store, where they're going to install performance parts on your gun for free while you wait. Plus, while you're there, you're going to want to shoot that gun, right? Well, they have the incomparable Shoot 270 indoor ranges. This is not a lane range. They don't do that nonsense at the Glock store. At the Glock store, it's shooting rooms. Just you, an instructor, and a private shooting room. And I've been to lots of other gun stores. I've been to a lot of them with indoor ranges, but nothing like this. Once I found the Glock store, I knew I found my favorite place to buy and to train, especially to train. It's the Glock store on Air Lane Drive, just off Elm Hill Pike and Briley Parkway. The Glock store and GlockStore.com. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
.35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Do you think Joe Biden is going to be the nominee come November? 615-737-9986. I want to know what you think. I'm pretty torn. I kind of been blown in the wind a little bit. But I'm starting to believe that he is going to be the nominee in November. Especially when you look at things like the division in the party, right? The fact that there's a deadline in July to make sure that the Democrat candidate's on the ballots, July 21st. The fact that you can't move over that war chest money. I think that coupled with the fact that the Bidens stand defiant leads me to believe that Joe's going to be the guy. I mean, did you hear Jill Biden yesterday?
Joe has made it clear that he's all in. That's the decision that he's made. And just as he has always supported my career, I am all in too.
Well, and you know what? I'm agreeing with Joe Biden. I'm all in. I'm supporting Joe Biden for another, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's get him past these deadlines. So that way he has to be on the ballot.
Republicans for Joe Biden.
Yeah, conservatives for Biden. Because we need him. We need him. Have you seen the polls lately? I mean, against Joe Biden, former President Trump leads in 6 swing states, according to an Emerson Dem Next Gen poll on Monday that was released. It further fuels the fears about Democrats about Biden's political viability, reports Breitbart. So, I mean, listen to these poll numbers. Trump is leading in every swing state by at least 3 points, except in Michigan, where he leads by 1. Pennsylvania, Trump is up by 5, 48-43. Wisconsin, Trump by 3, 47-44. Michigan, Trump by 1, 45-44. Nevada, you got to do Nevada. Can't say Nevada. Nevada, Trump is up 47-41. He's up by 6 in Nevada. You tell me that the no tax on tips isn't a good, effective messaging strategy. Look at Nevada, 47-41. Arizona, Trump is up by 4, 46-42. Georgia, Trump is up by 5, 47-42. They have to be freaking out behind the scenes when they look at these poll numbers. Trump has just increased his lead over Biden in Georgia, Nevada, Pennsylvania. In July's Emerson poll compared to the June poll, it's got to be scaring them. 7 states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina. Those are the key states that will decide the president. At least that's what longtime Democrat advisor Doug Sosnick wrote in the New York Times. And if Trump wins one or more of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Biden's chances of obtaining 270 electoral votes is super low. Emerson polling comes after a rash of negative polls for Biden. Suffolk University poll has 41% of Democrat voters wanting Joe to drop out of the race. A YouGov poll has 72% of voters saying Biden doesn't have the mental and cognitive health to serve as president, while another 72% want Biden to drop out. New York Times Siena poll, Trump leading Biden by 6 points, a 3-point swing from last week and the largest recorded lead since 2015 in Times polling. Wall Street Journal poll has Trump up over Biden by 6 points, his largest ever lead in a Wall Street Journal survey. A leaked internal Open Labs poll, Biden's vote share in the two-way horse race has declined by 0.8, and the voter share against Trump in the multi-way has also declined by 0.8. The results reveal the largest single-week drop since horse race tracking began in late 2021, according to the memo. CNN poll has Trump building a lead over Biden to the tune of 49-43%. 49-43. Wild. Do you think Joe is going to be the Democrat nominee? Nick and Franklin, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up?
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. So I think I have kind of a different outlook than most Republicans do. You know, I am a Republican conservative. I kind of liken the race of Joe Biden versus Donald Trump to sports, if you will. I don't want to win when the star quarterback goes down. You know, I want to beat them at their best. You know, and for Joe, most of the things that I see on Twitter and social media and Democrat talking points, you know, they talk about, you know, that Joe is the best chance to beat Donald Trump, but nobody ever says that Joe is the best choice for America. And you know, I want the Democrats to, you know, to put up their best candidate for America, for Americans, and, you know, not the best candidate to beat Donald Trump. And I don't want the Republicans to do that as well.
Well, you're operating from the assumption that Democrats love America.
I guess maybe I'm naive in that. I guess I also want like I want to think that, that we all love America, and that's who we want to be our president is, what's best for us. I mean, everybody has what's important to them and the things that they want their party or their president to stand for. I hope it's pro-America and not just anti-Trump or anti-Republican.
There's been a couple pro-America candidates for the left. Tulsi Gabbard was one of them, and they didn't let her talk during the 2020 primaries, and she ended up leaving the party. I would say that RFK Jr. is pro-America, albeit as leftist and progressive as you can be pro-America, and they didn't let him anywhere near the Democrat primaries. They want people that are going to toe the line.
Yeah, you're right.
It's crazy. Hey, I appreciate your call, Nick. Thanks so much. Let's go to Tom and Donaldson next on Super Talk. What's up, Tom?
Everything's good. I think you might have been 3/4 serious when you were saying you think Joe's still going to be the man. I don't know. I didn't quite catch your inference on that.
Yeah, but, no, I do. I think I'm about. Yeah, I think you nailed it. 75% that Joe is going to be the nominee.
Yep, it's leaning that way, and I'm saying he's going to stay in. And real quick, you and I had a short conversation on the 19th of June, and I said yes, he's going to stay in. I still think it. I just can't get away from it.
I hear you, Tom, and I appreciate you calling in, man. Call anytime. Let's go to Gary in Greenbrier. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Gary?
Well, my 2 cents is that, yeah, he's staying in, but, Democrats, they have a way of getting rid of people and shutting people down and whatever else, and I don't wish ill on anybody, but he can have any kind of health problem between now and November, and that will definitely knock him out and literally put him out of the way. And then there's provision where they have to do something, and Kamala Harris moves to the front.
If anybody it does replace Joe Biden, I really hope it is Kamala Harris.
Well, yeah, she's 1% in the primary to even to run for the office and ends up the VP.
Yep.
So yeah, she would be a piece of work, and then maybe Newsom would be the backfill, or I don't know, or maybe the big trick is Michelle Obama Newsom, because if they can't give her a job, try to get her into the Supreme Court and get Michelle in there, and maybe that's the winning answer.
I mean, Michelle Obama is the only candidate that would scare me, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that the Obama programming runs so deep on so many Americans, and you have a generation of kids that have been educated in the public indoctrination system to believe that Obama is the second coming. And I think that that's going to be an uphill battle if it is Michelle Obama. On the flip side, she hates D.C. There's a lot of skeletons in those closets I don't think they want being brought out. And I don't think she's going to do it. If you listen to Brian Wilson in the afternoon, he's been steadfast. Michelle Obama is not walking through that door.
Well, I hope so. I just believe I can't. There's no way that physically Biden is going to survive the coming weeks and months. The stressors are going to break them.
Yeah.
And they can't juice them up anymore because they juice them up anymore, that the brain can only take so much in that nervous system.
Yeah.
And that doctor coming in and out over Parkinson's, and then, what's going on with them health-wise, they got a mess on their hands. The thing, though, is there's no care or concern for the safety of this country with open borders and what our enemies are doing.
Yep.
And they're going to. They don't care how many Americans get hurt out of this. I'm afraid of that. I'm a veteran.
And I appreciate you for your service, Gary. The Democrats only care about one thing right now, and it's power.
Well, they're going to get punished for it one day.
Lord
ways than one.
Yep, Lord knows you're right. Appreciate the call, Gary. Call anytime. There's one guy out there that thinks Biden is going to be the nominee. Alex Marlow from Breitbart. You may be familiar with the book Breaking Biden. Alex Marlow is a smart guy, and he says that Biden's not dropping out. He's actually been saying this for a while, and he went on the Charlie Kirk show yesterday, and he said, guys, I still think he's not going to drop out.
I'm the person on the right who's been the most vocal that Joe Biden, under no circumstances, would ever exit the race. So I'm really right on the edge here. But I still back that claim. There's just simply nothing in his character that's ever suggested that he would be willing to step aside. And none of the major voices that could potentially push him out or convince him to step down have stepped up, because most of those voices are in his family. Yep. That's who he really looks at. You might have saw his speech today or his call into Morning Joe, talking about how he is contempt for the elites and how he's not listening to the elites. He really believes this. He doesn't see himself as an elite, even though he's been partially running the country for the last 50 years. He looks at his family, and unless they're going to step up and say, hey, dude, you got to get out of here, his inclination is going to be to stay in the race. There's only a few names to look at. It's Zients, it's Ron Klain, it's Jeffrey Katzenberg, it's maybe Barack Obama. There's only a handful of people that could convince him to step aside. None of those people are out there. Reid Hoffman's another big name. These guys are not out there right now saying he has to go. Nancy Pelosi's a big name. We're not seeing that. The people who want him out are people who have an ulterior motive. And until something breaks in that tiny core group of people, he's here, and he's probably going to go down bigly.
Yeah, I do think until somebody in that core group is to push him out, he's the guy. He's not going to step aside willingly. He's too stubborn. And as Alex Marlow says, he's not being told by anyone in his inner circle that it's time. Hunter's not saying it's time. Jill Biden, we all heard her. Jill Biden's all in.
Joe has made it clear that he's all in. That's the decision that he's made. And just as he has always supported my career, I am all in too.
Yeah, she loves the highfalutenness of being the first lady. And Joe Biden is too stubborn to drop out, according to Alex Marlow.
Think about his past. He should not have won his first Senate seat back in the 70s. He won that seat probably because the mafia got involved and it was a huge upset. He should have died during the 1988 presidential campaign that he ran. He had 2 aneurysms in his brain, and because his campaign was so anemic and he couldn't stop plagiarizing, it ended very quickly. If he had any momentum on that campaign and he actually ran for an extended period of time, he probably would have died.
We don't talk about the 2 aneurysms enough.
He probably should have lost in 2020 if he was ever going to run. He really wanted Beau Biden to be president even more than himself, even though, of course, he always wanted to be president. Beau had died, and then he decided to run. I can't believe he won that race because the Democrats were totally incompetent, and he only beat Trump because of the pandemic, the coronavirus, et cetera. So he should not be here. Under any circumstances should he not be here.
No, and he's too stubborn to leave. He's not going to leave on his own. Alex Marlow brings up another point. He's not going to get pushed over, especially not by Kamala Harris, because if you remember, that's what she was chosen for. They didn't want somebody strong enough to push Joe over, and Marlow makes that point right here.
He's thought his whole life that he's been overachieving, that he's been overcoming obstacles, that the media has never helped him, that the so-called people in the know have never helped him, and he's ended up helping them. So he's not going to get pushed over. And here's the biggest tell for me, Charlie, and I think you'll probably agree with this. Other than the fact that she has all these woke points, one of the major reasons Kamala Harris was Joe Biden's choice as vice president is because she's too stupid and incompetent to surpass him. He's a genius compared to Kamala Harris.
Isn't it bad when the mainstream media is saying the president might have dementia, he's a step slow, he's in cognitive decline? And then how do you think Kamala Harris feels when she hears Alex Marlow say, but she's too stupid to surpass him? Joe's a genius compared to Kamala.
Is because she's too stupid and incompetent to surpass him. He's a genius compared to Kamala Harris. No one makes this point. I don't understand why they don't. It's very obvious. Kamala Harris is not going to surpass Joe Biden, and he's not going to pass the torch to her unless he absolutely has to. It feels like, everyone that is listening to this thinking, of course. Of course, that's why she's there. Because if he put someone who was a super talented politician, they could vault him. She could never do that, and that's partially why she's there, even though she thinks he's a racist, and they don't really get along.
No, they don't get along at all, and she made those points that he's a racist nonstop during the primaries in 2020. I always thought it was hilarious that, he's a racist. He's evil. He was doing the busing. He was against it. All right, I'll work for him. Classic heels up Harris. Here's the thing. I want to know what you think. Is Joe going to be the nominee? 615-737-9986. Brian, Trucker John, I'll get to your calls next. Plus your calls and texts. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
We are tracking the potential for severe weather here in Middle Tennessee, and there's been a major loss in the entertainment world. All that and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 10:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. I said, conservatives for Biden for the next 2 weeks. I got a text from Jim on the Members Nutrition text line. What's in 2 weeks? So I just want to point it out one more time. The Democrats are holding a virtual roll call on July 21st. That's when the delegates are going to nominate their presidential candidate. That's the Democrats' real deadline, not the DNC. Because he's got to get on the ballot in a few states. So for the next 2 weeks, we got to support Joe Biden. We need him as the candidate. Don't forget, the real line in the sand on whether or not Joe Biden is going to be the candidate that they move forward with. Things could always happen after July 21st. He is quite old. But the current line in the sand is July 21st for their virtual roll call. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking the potential for severe storms here in Middle Tennessee. Any that do pop up could have the potential to spawn a tornado or two. Looks like the timeline we're talking about is between noon and 8 o'clock tonight. Got the full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Major loss in the entertainment world. 50-year member of the iconic Oak Ridge Boys, Joe Bonsall, has passed away. The Grand Ole Opry member, Country Music Hall of Famer, Gospel Music Hall of Famer, died due to complications from ALS today. He was 76. And right now in our nation's capital, election 2024, Stephen Portnoy says pressure for President Biden to drop out seems to be easing.
Most House Democrats emerged from the closed-door huddle expressing support for the president. New York's Gerald Nadler, who had reportedly said last weekend that he believed Biden should step aside, now says he's on board.
I'm fully supportive of him. I plan to campaign for him.
A half-dozen House Democrats are still on the record saying he should not run again, but it appears most Democrats in Congress are standing by Biden. And barring something unforeseen, that likely means the convention delegates will support him too.
Well, the White House says Biden's going to prove to the world that he is a capable leader, starting today, hosting the NATO summit. More than 30 world leaders in D.C. for 3 days of meetings, speeches, and dinners starting today. And starting next Monday, Target will no longer accept paper checks as a form of payment in its brick and mortar stores because so few customers are still paying with them. Target's taking a cue from grocery stores Aldi and Whole Foods. Big picture here, the Federal Reserve says that only around 12 billion checks were written in 2021, down from 20 billion 6 years before that. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
.05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. That's at Chris Hand on Air. Twitter, True Social, Instagram. I don't do the Facebook stuff. Some people do. Not judging, but I don't.
Yeah, I was like, I have an account, but I don't use it.
Dude, it's one of those things. I canceled out all my social media. And then when I started working here, I was like, oh, I have to do that again.
So I guess I need it kind of thing. Yeah, I was like, I only really keep social media to keep in contact with people that I don't live near. That's the only reason I still have it. And even then, I'm kind of like, just take my phone number.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of social media.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of the memes.
Yeah.
So follow me for memes. We're talking about Joe Biden. Is he going to make it as the nominee? Do you think Joe is going to stand the test of time, if you will, and be on the ballot come November? Trucker John's been waiting on the line. Trucker John, how are you, man?
Hey, man. Chris, it's always a pleasure to get to talk to you.
I appreciate it, dude.
Hey, listen, if that Joe Biden audio that you had played had been any longer than it was, I would have had to rip the headphones off my head. Her voice pierces my brain as bad as Kamala Harris's laugh.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Oh, my God.
That's Dr. Jill we're talking about here.
Joe has made it clear that he's all in.
Yeah, thanks for that. Is she an actual doctor, or is she just like a Phil?
I think she's just got a doctorate. I don't think she's like a real doctor. She's more of a nurse these days anyway.
All right. Well, yeah. I love when people call me a conspiracy theorist for thinking for myself. I absolutely love that. And I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I agree with you. I think Joe Biden's going to be in the race for the long haul, and here's why. I think the Democrats are they're going to let it ride. They've already conceded the loss. They're just going to take it.
Yep.
These deep state Dems, they're playing a long game. I mean, look how much damage they did under 8 years of Obama already.
Yep.
Look at how much damage they did during the pandemic. Look at the indoctrination of our children right now. Look at the invasion of the immigrants that we're seeing. It's going to take a lot to undo that. We need to seriously think. I think Trump is going to be a wonderful thing for this country, but I think we as conservatives and Republicans, we need to think beyond him. We need to undo the damage of years of the deep state.
Absolutely. This is not going to be a magic wand quick fix. Are things going to get better if Trump is in there? Yeah. But I think you nailed it. There's it's going to be years of unpacking the damage that they've done.
Yeah, absolutely. They play the long game. They know they're gonna have to win some, lose some. Obama and Biden have been a fantastic victory for them, but they're willing to step back, let things ride for a while, and then they're going to come back again.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I appreciate the call, Trucker John. Call anytime, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, Biden is losing support. There are people out there that want him to either step aside or get more tests. Sanjay Gupta, he thinks Biden needs some more testing.
What was your reaction to the debate? What did you think as a doctor?
Well, there was concern, I think, from the go, frankly. First question you asked, I think right away when I watched again, if it were my dad, there was cause for concern. Stumbling of speech, sort of confused rambling at times, and then also motor symptoms, lack of expression in the face.
Yep.
None of those things are diagnostic of anything. I just want to be clear about that. But in aggregate, they are flags. And I think anybody, and unanimously from the medical professionals I've heard, they would advocate for testing based on what they saw at that debate.
Yeah, and he said, look at the body language. I was listening to Brian and his post-debate coverage, and he was talking about, inside baseball on TV. Brian Wilson, the afternoon was, and he's like, listen to it with the sound off. Watch it with the sound off, and that'll tell you whether they're doing a good job or not. And it's like, if you look at Joe Biden with the sound off, mouth agape, blank stare, the 1,000-yard stare, the deer in the headlights look, it wasn't a good sign. Lots of red flags, lots of reasons why Biden would need some more tests being done. That senior Dems have called for Biden to step down. Jerry Nadler was one of those Dems. He's since walked back the comments, but other senior Democrats have called on Joe Biden to drop out of the race. Jerry Nadler did, then he walked it back. Adam Smith out of Washington, Mark Takano out of California, Joseph Morell out of New York. This is kind of we're seeing the curtain be peeled back and seeing people that have been touting how great he is say, yeah, it's not the move. Rob Reiner called for Biden to step down. A Dem mega donor said that there's almost no support left for Joe Biden and said the dam has broken. That's Whitney Tilson. He's a longtime Democrat mega donor. Says there's almost no support left for Joe Biden. Almost no support left.
Step aside. You have said, I know that privately, a number of Democrats have shared their concerns with you. Reed Hastings, one of the party's biggest donors, just told the New York Times he now thinks it's time for Biden to step aside. Do you think these more public pushes from yourself, from other donors, from lawmakers will bring more people forward publicly? I think that the dam has broken and that more and more people will come out publicly. I can tell you with certainty that as recently as last Friday and Saturday after the debate, there were quite a few people who felt like it was just an off night. As of today, I can't find anybody, even and I am a hardcore Democrat and Biden supporter. I love Joe Biden. I respect the fact that he's an optimist, that he's a fighter, and that has served him well in the 52 years since he was first elected to the Senate. But it's different today, I'm afraid. The ship has sailed, and there is basically almost no support remaining for him as the candidate.
Almost no support remaining for Joe Biden as a candidate. And you can look at Biden campaign volunteers. They don't support him either. CBS in Philadelphia caught up with one of his campaign volunteers as Biden made it was like one of the campaign headquarters, one of the campaign locations in Pennsylvania. Biden stopped by to say hello to people as he was on his media blitz to show that he's, got vigor. And one of the campaign volunteers was shocked that he was coming there. And listen to what he said.
The president made his way to a field campaign office in Manayunk, where volunteers were surprised to find out he was visiting.
Oh, is he coming here? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. That's dope. I hope he's awake for it.
Did you hear it? That's a Biden campaign volunteer. Oh, he's coming here? That's cool. That's dope. I hope he's awake for it.
Oh, is he coming here? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. That's dope. I hope he's awake for it.
That's somebody that volunteers their time and effort for Joe Biden. I hope he's awake for it. I hope he's awake for it. A Disney heiress says she's not donating to Dems until Biden drops out of the presidential race. Longtime Democrat donor, Disney heiress Abigail Disney, reportedly said she would no longer donate to the Democratic Party until Biden drops out of the presidential race. That's what she told CNBC News last week. And she means no disrespect to the president, but plans to stop all future donations until Biden is no longer the nominee. She wants to see Kamala Harris replace him on the ticket. Okay, good luck. I wouldn't mind seeing Kamala Harris replace Joe Biden on the ticket. I think it's not really going to do anything. Biden isn't losing all support, though. He's not. He still has the view.
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go.
Oh, that's when you'll say, maybe it's time to go. You don't care if the president's out there pooping his pants? I mean, the rumors have been there for a while. They don't go anywhere. But then you get some people on the internet say, okay, well, they're not going to move away from Biden. Well, they must have something up their sleeve then, right? I'm sure you've seen the comments on the internet. If they're not going to move away from Biden, well, then they must really be ready to cheat. They must be totally prepared. Maybe. Breaking yesterday, the Biden White House lashed out against the bill that would prevent illegal immigrants from voting in elections. The SAVE Act, Joe Biden strongly opposes making sure that illegal aliens cannot vote. The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, if passed, would prevent anyone from casting a ballot in federal elections without proof of citizenship. It would also mandate that all states ensure that there are no non-citizens on their voter rolls and punish election officials who register non-citizens with up to 5 years in prison. Well, in an official statement, the White House says the administration strongly opposes H.R. 8281. It is already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. It is a federal crime punishable by prison and fines. The alleged justification for this bill is based on easily disproven falsehoods. Additionally, making a false claim of citizenship or unlawfully voting in an election is punishable by removal from the United States and a permanent bar to admission. The statement went on to claim that states already have these safeguards in place to verify voter eligibility, to maintain the accuracy of voter rolls, and that the bill would do nothing to safeguard the elections, but it would make it much harder for eligible Americans to register to vote and increase the risk that eligible voters are purged from voter rolls. Mike Johnson recently released a report revealing that in some states, a number of non-citizens had already been removed from voter rolls. In Virginia, for example, 1,481 people were taken off the list last year. Over 20% of them had already cast a ballot in state elections over the past 4 years. So the House is going to vote on the SAVE Act this week. The Democrats have already made it clear that they're going to oppose it. Donald Trump is behind the SAVE Act, as I'm sure that you would guess and you would assume. Trump went on Truth Social and said Republicans must pass the SAVE Act or go home and cry yourself to sleep. Non-citizen illegal migrants are getting the right to vote, being pushed by crooked Democrat politicians who are not being stopped by an equally dishonest Justice Department. Our whole voting system is under siege. Harmeet and David, go to court and get this stopped now. The Dems can't win on their policies. The only way they can win is to cheat. They do it at every level of the government, and they do it well. That's how they got an incapacitated moron like Joe Biden elected. Get tough, RNC, in parentheses, Michael W., Michael Watley. Speaker Johnson and all state and local Republican politicians, the Justice Department is corrupt and won't do a thing to help. They have no shame. All I can say is that if I'm elected president, we will pursue election fraudsters at levels never seen before, and they will be sent to prison for long periods of time. We already know who you are. Don't do it. Zuckerbucks, be careful. It's Donald Trump's statement on passing the SAVE Act. Billy in Nashville, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Billy?
Hey there, Chris. Love the show. Just want to get your thoughts. You know, all these Democrats say that they're not supporting Joe Biden, but when it comes to the ballot, are they still going to vote for him just because they don't want to vote for Trump?
I mean, I think you're definitely going to have a large vote blue no matter who crowd. But I think that there's going to be a massive number of people who are just not voting. And maybe it's because Biden is too supportive of Israel. Maybe it's because of the Palestinian conflict. Or maybe it's just because you can't afford to live in Joe Biden's America, but you're too demoralized and hit with the propaganda of Orange Man bad. So you won't vote for Trump either. If you're not voting for Biden and you're not, that's fine. I'd rather them not vote than vote blue no matter who.
Yeah, I was just curious if they were just going to have a write-in or are they just going to vote for blue, vote for Biden no matter what.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
I mean, I think it's going to be a mixed bag for sure. I think that there's definitely going to be more people not voting out of principle this time than in 2020. That's for sure. Without a doubt. There's going to be more people who decide to sit this election out than sat out in 2020. Larry in Clarksville wants to talk about Whoopi Goldberg. What's up, Larry?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
And first of all, nobody wants the mental pick of Whoopi admitting that she poops her pants all the time.
This is true.
And Chris, I've got to tell you, man, I'm worried about them stealing this election too. I mean, I don't know how do I put this and not get hit with the red button. I don't know. I'm afraid, they may have already figured out a way to steal this upcoming election. What do you think?
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I think that his support is so low that he would need an incredible turnaround. There's no way that he's going to get 81 million votes this time, and people are going to go, "Oh, wow, that's on the up and up." There's just no way.
I don't think he never got 81 million votes the last time.
Yeah, but last time though, they had they could have the argument. They could make the argument that they got those votes. I don't think that they can make that argument this time.
Well, there's no way he got more votes than Obama did.
Yep, I'm with you.
And I'm just telling you, Chris, if these things happen this time and it goes south again, there are going to be some bad times.
I hear you, Larry, and I appreciate your call. Heather in Nashville, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Heather?
Well, I just have been for years dealing with my sister-in-law, who is very liberal, a lot of liberal friends, but she has started coming around a little bit.
All right.
She saw that I picked up the new Dr. Phil book called We've Got Issues, and he's done a really good job of not taking sides, but delivering all of this information that needs to be out there and kind of how we start to fix it. And she's also is a big fan of RFK Jr., who's that book he wrote on Fauci was super eye-opening that I read. And she sees how her side, even some of her great liberal friends, won't even speak to her when she starts to talk about RFK Jr.
Yeah.
So, and how the media has silenced him, and how Biden's won't give him Secret Service protection as a candidate, and all of this. So her eyes are starting to be opened, and
it usually takes waking up to one lie to go, what else did they lie to me about?
Right, and then really, she was talking about the first impeachment, where the perfect phone call with Ukraine, and she said, "Well, I think it is illegal to try to withhold money." I said, Kathy, Biden was the one that withheld the money, not Obama. He was just trying to get to the bottom of it. And I showed her that video she had never seen over these, last years that we've all seen it 100 times, where he says, "Well, son of a." The next day they fired the prosecutor. I showed her that. She broke down in tears.
Really?
That she said, "I just can't believe I have been so deceived."
It is easier to deceive someone than it is to prove that they've been deceived.
Yeah.
Every single time. Well, I'm glad she's coming around, Heather. Keep pushing. You know, when you see that like glimmer of light and hope, just rip that thing open.
Yeah, and this book by Dr. Phil really opened the door, because things I would have told her, she would say, no, that's not happening, that's not happening. But she respects Dr. Phil and his opinion, and she's seeing it in this book with, references, and it's made a big difference. So I'm buying more of the books and giving them out to people who need it.
I love to hear it, Heather. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. It's an election year. What are you doing with your investments? Do you have somebody that you can trust to steer you in the right direction? I know I do. It's Paul and his team at Paul Winkler Inc. And you probably already know Paul. He's been hosting the Investor Coaching Show here on WTN for over 20 years. We run it every Saturday from 3 to 6. He spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize before he started the show. He's an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. And so my wife and I, we work with Paul. If you're working with a financial planner, you should talk to Paul anyway. Get a second opinion. Make sure you're doing things exactly how you need to. Talk to somebody who you can trust. And I'll tell you how I can trust Paul. Paul and his team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. Paul wants to make sure every time I do these commercials, I tell you I'm paid to do these commercials. That's what he wants. He wants the transparency. He wants the honesty. But I don't get paid to be a client. I chose to be a client. I wanted to be a client because I trust Paul. I trust his team. I like that they do nothing on commission. I like that they really focus on education so that way you never get the uneasy feeling of blind trust. They're going to look at your whole financial picture and then help you make some decisions. That's what they did for me. They can do it for you. Set up a 15-minute phone call today. Just go to paulwinkler.com. It's that simple. paulwinkler.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Still tracking the potential for severe storms that could spawn tornadoes today in Middle Tennessee. We got a major loss in the entertainment world. Looks like pressure for President Biden to drop out of the 2024 presidential race may be easing. And a tidbit from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell about interest rates coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Tension easing. That's what we want to hear at Conservatives for Biden. That's what we want. Let's keep Joe in there as the nominee. It is a wild time to be covering the news. And I love being a part of it. You can be a part of it too. 615-737-9986. Jimmy in the borough's been holding. Jimmy, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, there's two options I think y'all left out. The first option, the mega donors could get together and offer him enough money that he would drop out. And if he said no, they could also take that same amount of money and give it to the Clinton operatives, and he would disappear.
It was a damn shame. He committed suicide by jumping down the stairs after shooting himself twice, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, nothing would shock me. Nothing would shock me. But it does.
Well, he could accidentally get the wrong medication.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, though, it does seem like they're starting to pull back a little bit, and Joe Biden may just be the nominee.
I sure hope he is.
Me and you both, Jimmy. Me and you both. Appreciate the call. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still tracking the potential for severe storms today, and we can't rule out tornadoes. Looks like the timeline going to be between noon and 8 o'clock tonight. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in entertainment. Joe Bonsall, 50-year member of the iconic Oak Ridge Boys, passed away today from his battle with ALS. The Grand Ole Opry member, country music and gospel music Hall of Famer, was 76 years old. The pressure for President Biden to drop out of the 2024 presidential race appears to be easing, with most House Democrats emerging from that closed-door huddle this morning expressing support for the president. And barring something unforeseen, the convention delegates will support Biden too. And Fed Chairman Jerome Powell telling today's Senate Banking Committee hearing that due to what he says are promising signs, Americans are getting closer to a long-awaited interest rate cut, but likely not at the next meeting at the end of this month. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
11:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. You can watch the show on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, on Super Talk TV. You can listen to the show again. The podcasts are available on Spotify and Apple. Our conversation this morning with Chris Spencer, a state Senate candidate in Sumner and Trousdale counties. Great interview. That's up on the podcast machine. You can share with your friends. We're talking about Joe Biden. Do you think he's going to be the nominee? I think he is. I started like an hour ago. I was like at 75%. I feel like I'm talking myself into it.
I was like, it's not a hard fight to argue for.
It's going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos.
A big shirt with C4B and what is it? Red Pill.
The Red Pill Moms Club?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the abbreviation. I can't think of how to abbreviate that because I'm running a little slow at the moment.
7712 on the Members Nutrition text line. We were talking about this during the commercial break. Chris Hand has the best clubs in Tennessee. Conservatives for Biden and the RPMC, the Red Pilled Moms Club. I do have some good clubs.
Yeah, I am all for them, absolutely.
Conservatives for Biden, this is a club that's only going to be active until, I think, July 21st.
I mean, hey, we'll do a limited run T-shirt for it.
Yeah.
I think we can get some good sales up.
So July 21st is the line in the sand. That's when they do the virtual roll call to name Joe Biden as the nominee officially, to make sure he's on a few of those state ballots that have dates that are the deadlines are earlier than what the Democrat National Convention is going to be. So we'll keep pounding the drum, as they say, for Conservatives for Biden until the 21st. Conservatives for Biden. That's what I think. We all need to back him. If the Democrats won't, we should. We should. And the Democrats, they've been turning on him left and right. Donors are leaving. But the big names are there. The Nancy Pelosi's are there. Chuck Schumer is there. Barack Obama has his back. We're not seeing the major names come out against Joe Biden. Maxine Waters is she's working hard for Biden. She says she's going to keep working hard for him and go to several states to support him.
I am going to work as hard as I can for him. I'm going to go to several states. I believe that he deserves our support. That's all I can speak about is me.
But do you think he can actually win?
Biden is going to win. The team Biden-Harris is going to win, win, win.
Team Biden-Harris is going to win, win, win.
How many states do you think she'll actually travel to that isn't already a very clear blue state?
So you kind of took it out. I was going to say, well, she'll definitely do California and Maryland.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see Maxine Waters, I don't know, Virginia.
She might accidentally cross into Oregon for like a rest stop before heading back into California.
Honestly, they'll probably send her to what? Philadelphia. They'll send her to Detroit.
Those, the real states that make a difference.
Honestly. Yeah, the surrogates are out there. They support Biden. He's going to win, win, win. Biden campaign co-chair Cedric Richmond, he tries his best to assure Americans that Biden won't have more mental lapses, but he doesn't do a good job.
Joe interview yesterday, but can the American people be sure President Biden won't have more mental lapses like what we saw at the debate?
Well, it was a bad debate performance. And it's the same thing that happened to President Obama. He had a bad debate performance going into his reelection, and it's been consistent with other presidents also.
They keep saying this. They keep bringing up the bad debate Obama had, but Obama didn't have the 1,000-yard stare. Obama didn't have the mouth agape dementia look on his face that Joe Biden did. The bad Obama debate would have been a miracle performance by Joe Biden. But they keep going back to that.
So I would once again say, look at his accomplishments, what he's been able to do as president.
That's not much. Spoiler alert. It's not much. From our own state of Tennessee, Democrat Rep Steve Cohen, he says that the Democrats aren't even in the same book when it comes to supporting Joe Biden.
You all on the same page?
No. What do you mean you're not on the same page?
Not even in the same book. Support President Biden?
Not even in the same book as he walks away. We're not even in the same book. We're not even in the same book. Unbelievable. Biden campaign co-chair Cedric Richmond doesn't want people to focus on Joe Biden right now.
I don't want us to continue to focus on President Biden. We've seen his accomplishments.
Yeah, don't focus on Biden. Don't focus on Biden, please. Joe in Oak Hill wants to talk about the election. Joe, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Young man, you do a good job.
I appreciate you, brother.
I'm going to recommend Joe Biden to send you a check.
I don't know. The last time Joe Biden was sending out checks, we ended up with rampant inflation.
No, what I want to talk about is, do you think this election is going to be corrupt?
I mean, I feel like that's like a loaded question, right? Do I think it could be corrupt? Yeah, I think that we all have that thought in the back of our minds. Do you think the Democrat government, the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA is going to give up their power? I think that's going to be an uphill battle.
Do you think that they're going to give up their power?
I don't think they're going to do it willingly.
No.
Do you think that? Do you think if you're operating under the assumption that they're going to cheat, do you think that they can fake enough that wouldn't raise eyebrows at this point in this election? Like in 2020, you could make the argument that it was going to be close enough that if they did fake some votes, that would push them over the edge. I don't think you can make the argument that it's going to be close enough in 2024.
The Democrat Party has got so many things up their sleeve, you will have to buy 55 shirts. Democrats are not going to give up their power.
I hear you, but I think that they're not going to have much of a choice. I think it's going to be taken from them this time.
I hope so.
I do too, man. And I understand your fears, especially when you look at what happened in the last election with the CIA putting their thumb on the scale, with Hunter Biden's laptop, with the media that was up against Trump. We're dealing with a different animal, though, because the left-wing establishment media isn't supporting Joe Biden like they have in the past. We have social media freedom when it comes to Twitter. We're seeing a lot of these lies still be debunked in real time, and we're not getting shut down like we were in 2020 at this point in the election.
Will the CIA turn their back on Trump?
Will the CIA turn their back on Trump?
Yeah.
Did the CIA have his back to begin with?
No, but I'm just saying, do you think the CIA would protect Trump?
I mean, I guess, that's a tough question. I guess it depends on what you think about the CIA, right?
Trump is a marked man.
No, I agree. I agree with you there. I think that there's going to be a lot of things that they'd be willing to do to get him out of there. But I also think
the Democrats will do anything to get Donald Trump.
No, I hear you, Joe. I hear you, man.
Watch the judge September the 11th. What do you think he's going to do?
I mean, we're going to find out, right? I think we have to wait and see what happens after that Supreme Court ruling to see if this stuff.
He will put Donald Trump in prison.
See, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think if they were going to put Trump in prison, they wouldn't have postponed the sentencing date. They would have had him in there already.
Well, he will make the sentencing, and that will have to be appealed. I worked in criminal court for 15 years, Division 5. The last case I worked was a Vanderbilt rape case. It took me 4 years. I worked for a great judge. I did all the subpoenas.
Okay.
And I'm just telling you, beware.
I hear you, Joe, and I appreciate your call, man. Let's go to Scott in Hendersonville. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Scott?
Hey, love your show. I'm on your side, but I got to respond to your question to your previous caller about whether it would raise any eyebrows if they were to cheat to the level they needed to. No, it wouldn't, because they own the media, man. That's all I got to say. I'll listen to your answer.
But you don't think that the media's turned on Joe Biden this time?
No, man, I still think they would do any Orange Man bad, and they'll do whatever they need to do to cover that up.
Yeah, but do you really think that they could get away with it?
I think it's possible.
I don't think there's going to be.
I hope not, man. I hope not.
But I think that there's going to be so much scrutiny under this one that it's going to be almost impossible for them to pull that off if they were to even attempt it.
Yeah, but if the scrutiny doesn't get out to 75-80% of the American people that listen to mainstream media, what difference does it make?
Fair enough. If a tree falls in the woods, right?
Yep.
Hey,
all right, thanks, man. Love your show.
Appreciate the call, Scott. Call anytime, man. I mean, a lot of people do think that the Democrats are open to, willing to, and ready to cheat. I understand that. I think it's going to be hard this time. I think it's going to be hard this time. I do. I think it's going to be hard with Twitter being in control of somebody who likes free speech. I think it's going to be hard with the level of scrutiny that's going to be on this election that wasn't there in 2020. I think it's going to be hard, man. Sharon in the Borough, you're up next on Super Talk. What do you think?
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I'm the last two callers. I have to agree. I was going to call in yesterday about that, but I didn't have time. I just think that the Democrats are devious. They plot and plan for years. And if they got away with it last time, which they did, they got away with the cheating and the stealing. I believe it was stolen. I believe Trump won. So they got away with it last time. What makes us think they won't get away with it again? I just think they're going to do some different things. They've got all these illegals here, and I keep reading stuff all over Twitter that, how illegals, ran into these illegals and they all had IDs and voter cards and, blah, 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 and they're planning on voting for Biden. So, I'm very concerned about it.
I mean, I think it's okay to be concerned. I just think that we have people in places now that we didn't have before. I think that the RNC is ready at a different level than they were before. And maybe I'm being naive. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but I truly hope that that's the case.
Well, I hope so too. But when you look at how the left is just so devious, and they'll do anything, and they don't care what we think. They didn't care. I guess it's like this. When I saw the last time, how they lied and covered and cheated and all that, and then when that wall went up, or that fence went up around the White House, I thought, oh my, we're never going to have another conservative or Republican president again.
I hear you. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I am too. I hope I'm wrong.
I appreciate your call, Sharon.
Love your show. Thanks.
Hey, thank you. Let's go to Dan and Steve in Huntland. Dan and Steve, you're next on Super Talk. What's up?
What's up, Chris?
How we doing, guys?
Oh, we're doing great as always. I've got a little conspiracy theory. With all these illegals that have come in, especially the Chinese nationalists, all the terrorists and things of that nature, all these groups and these gangs, all they have to do is do some terrorist attacks right before the election. And then all of a sudden, they'll get to declare martial law. Then you can't have the election. And Mason, if you would please, fact check me on that. But under martial law, you can't have an election. So they can screw the whole thing up right there and keep him in power as long as he's under martial law.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the backlash from that would be overwhelming.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just saying that's a good conspiracy theory. because I don't put anything past them.
Well, and Lord knows we have enough terrorists in the country to pull something off.
Right. Well, what about the 40,000 Chinese terrorists? Chinese, I'm sorry. They're not terrorists yet. They're newcomers.
They're just foreign nationals that are abusing the system. Yeah, you don't hear about them at all. You don't hear about the Chinese at all.
Nothing.
When's the last time we heard about the Chinese police stations that were operating in our country? When's the last time we heard about the Chinese biolabs? You don't hear about it one bit.
Buying up all our processing. I don't support Jimmy Dean or Tyson or any of these companies that support hiring illegals, or if they're Chinese owned. And you're talking some of these companies are all of your name brands, and we just boycott all of them because you know what? They can. I keep forgetting I'm on the radio.
You got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. I hear you, bro, though, and I appreciate your call, man. Thanks so much.
Hey, Chris, you take care. Hey, Mason is doing a great job.
All right. All right.
Talk to you soon. All right. Bye.
Don't gas up Mason too quick. We got to keep him humble. We got to keep Mason humble.
Hey, but I appreciate you all the same.
It's enough. Got to keep him humble. Jose in Nashville, you're up next on Super Talk. What do you think, Jose?
Hey, well, just to make a comment here, I don't think the media is turning on Biden. What it is, this is just an orchestrated effort. Remember, the game plan is to stop Trump. So them turning on Biden is not the end game for them. They're not all of a sudden becoming honest reporters now. That's not what it is. What we have is the media is now trying to get someone to replace Biden so that they can stop Trump in the end. So the end game, this is all an orchestrated effort to stop Trump. So even if they have to sacrifice Biden.
No, I think you're pretty much nailing the head. I think the end game is to stop Trump. That has to be the end game for them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not like all of a sudden the media has decided to do honest reporting. That is not what's going on. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there and.
I hear you. I think that the media is actually pissed because they look so bad. I think that guys over at CNN feel like they look dumb, and they do. They do, and I think that's what it is.
Well, I'm praying that Biden stays strong and that he continues to say that he wants to be the front runner.
Yep.
And, I still believe that there's a higher power in heaven and he has the last call.
Amen.
Who gets to be the ruler of America. So anyway, God bless your show.
Hey, appreciate you, Jose, and thanks for being another conservative for Biden. We're starting a movement. All right.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, bro. It's 11:54 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.